Hey, all right. This is a short one. Just kind of a driving down the road, kind of a thought hit me. The basic premise of the thought was if everyone's looking in California for the past and the future box because of the whole state of gold, sunshine, place of box near where I love, and all those hints in the text, and trying to see if there could be, is there something like that in every chapter, in every small chapter, I mean, something in the text that indicates a state to look for, or so that was basic thought. So I went home, did a little bit of research. I still like California for the past and the future because of the aforementioned state of gold, sunny, all that state I loved. I still like I still like Vermont as being the indicator of where to look for of where to look for the AT box, but again, that's not in the text. So I didn't find anything in the text on a first pass. I still like Arkansas. I got that from the text because expanded reality reinforced by the Mewtwo in the photo as being the only Pokemon that's clearly overlaid. In my opinion, yes, you can see other photos. I agree with that. Yes, you can see other Pokemon in that photo. But the Mewtwo, if you zoom in, it's like a clear, if you're familiar with Photoshop or any other photo editing, it's like a clear, different layer. It's as best as I can explain that. So that points me to Arkansas, even though I am looking in Southern Illinois now, but I think the first state is going to be Arkansas. So I looked in the Fen to see if there's anything that points you to a clear state, and I found something interesting. All right, so let's dive into this. So early on in the Fen chapter, he talks about, and remember, I'm not looking at each chapter of the mini boxes has an obvious area to look for a clue, right? And what I mean by that is the Fen has the poem, right? The Past and the Future box has the crossword. The AT has the map, and the Pokemon has the story. That's where you're supposed to look. I think there's stuff you can find in the text or the lead up or the introduction to the area you're supposed to look, and that's where I think you can find a hint for a state. So that's this new trail I'm kind of operating on. So in the Fen box chapter, he says, let's go right here. Second paragraph. Over my life, I've dreamed of different careers. This is page 204. I imagine what some of them might have been. Race car driver, mountain climber, monk, and paleontologist. So to me, this is interesting because most of the time when he lists something in the book, it's either a 3 or a 5. If he lists something, he lists 3 of things, which 3 are pretty common in writing style. You'll have comma or a semicolon, you'll have 1, 2, and then you'll have a comma, and then you'll have the word and then you'll have your third thing. And that's, I think, the grammatically correct way to list 3 things, right? And he does it often in the book, 3 things, and he'll do 5 sometimes. Off the top of my head, I can't remember any 4s. I'll have to go back and check and see if there's 4s. But again, I don't really want to go too far back into part 1. The only thing that would help is if that would be his writing style. Is if he often does 4s, then I might excuse this. But to my knowledge, he does 3s and 5s. So seeing a 4 like this is something I want to key in on. And so he does, I would have enjoyed life living several lives at the same time. Here we go. Race car driver, mountain climber, monk, paleontologist. All right, race car driver, mountain climber, monk, and paleontologist. I keyed in on those early, but didn't really do anything much with them. That's not a real sentence. I keyed in on them early, but didn't do anything with them. There we go. But now that we're looking for a state, I was like, I wonder. And the thing I love about the Fen box is that there's only 4 states to choose from, right? 25% chance to get it right. What I liked about this is I wonder if we can find these 4 things in the 4 states. So I get a piece of paper, write Montana, Wyoming, Arizona, Colorado. Why I choose that order is just random, nothing to it. And see how many of those have race car tracks. So they all have some form of race car track, but if you're talking America and talking racing, you're talking NASCAR, and so only 2 have NASCAR tracks, which I got a little bit excited, right? So Arizona's got the Phoenix Raceway, Colorado's got the Colorado National Speedway, both of them NASCAR, both of them pretty big on the circuit, both of them pretty well-known tracks. So again, Montana, Wyoming doesn't. So I like that. We're narrowing it down. That's race car driver. If you look at mountain climber, all 4 have mountains to climb. Colorado obviously has the most notable ones, but Arizona does have some you can climb too. So all 4 get a check for yes, and the 2 that have the race car, that have the NASCAR tracks, they get a yes also. Monk, this one's pretty interesting. So for monks, Montana, you get no big hints for months, from no big hit. I'm sorry, I can tell I'm excited. No big hits for monks. You do get Garden of the Thousand Buddhas, which was an AI lead, and I didn't get too much off of that. If you just do a quick, now that I have my phone right here, a quick search, you do get, it's a spiritual site near Arley, Montana, within the Flathead Indian Reservation. And it looks pretty impressive. I don't know if there's actually 1,000 Buddhas there. It's, let's see, 750 square feet, over 10 acres, history. It's found by a Tibetan master. In 2015, the final Buddha was placed. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's 1,000 Buddhas. So if you want to talk about monks, I mean, there's your hit for Montana. For Wyoming, nothing, no big real hints. No, why do I keep saying hints? Must be Freudian slip or something. No big hits. Arizona and Colorado do have it. Do have big monk tie-ins. They both have Catholic monasteries. So if you want to go the Catholic route, they got monks, and both of them have pretty sizable Buddhism temples and following. So that would be a yes for monks there. So, I mean, the most, I don't know if prominent is the right word, but visually engaging monk link is going to be in Montana. But Montana didn't have a NASCAR speedway or railway. They do have other racing sites, so, and they do have mountains. So, I mean, I guess, you could try to force, it wouldn't really be a force. But here's where we get to the last one, paleontology, right? So Colorado's got big ones and Montana's got big ones. Yes, there's some in Arizona and Wyoming too. That whole region has dinosaurs. So, I mean, I don't know. I was excited because I think it kind of reinforced Montana and Colorado, which are the 2 big states that I looked at. Montana was my original one, and Colorado is kind of a newer one. And both, I think, are really clear. Colorado, if you're going by the most clear and surface level links to those the 4 occupations he lists, which I'm okay with. So most of the time I'll look for a second or third, a little bit layered link. I don't want it as obvious, but in something like this where we've already gone a layer by looking at the 4 occupations, right? So we're already 1 layer deep. It's not like he's listing race cars, mountains, dinosaurs overtly in the text. He's telling us, hey, if I could live multiple lives, these are what I would have liked to be. So that's 1 layer in. So I'm okay with there being an obvious clue, right? Something obvious like Garden of 1,000 Buddhas is pretty obvious. I guess it depends on race car. If you want to define that as NASCAR, which I took it, because if you don't narrow it somehow, all the states have some kind of racetrack in. Which again, this is just a little bit of a rabbit hole. This is a short video. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm not making this an instrumental part of my solve. This is just if you want to find in each chapter, which I'll try to do something similar with the AT box and see if there's something in the text that points to a chapter. That points to a state. The first thing that pops to mind is like a North Carolina, because he kind of says it in the beginning. But again, that's too overt. It's too obvious for me. But yeah, that's the end of this video. It's just something short, something sweet, something to nibble on, a little nugget. If you want to take those 4 things. I've heard some pretty interesting theories about the 4 things he lists. This is just another take on it. It could help narrow down a state. Again, you'd have to kind of, choose NASCAR as your race car link. Which I do like the fact that this is something you remember from, I guess, elementary school. Race car is one of those words that's spelled the same front and back. Unfortunately, paleontologist isn't, monk isn't, and mountain climber isn't. But I don't know if there's something there. It's just 1 word. It's hard to take just 1 word out of a chapter and make it a whole big thing. But 10 minutes was my goal for this one, so short, sweet. Here we are, 9:44. So let me go ahead and say goodbye, and we'll keep it under 10. All right, guys, that's it. Bye.